Surrounded in mystery and controversy, the Georgia Guidestones were a granite stone monument that disappeared from the landscape in a single day. Once a topic of controversy for conspiracy theorists, the stones have re-emerged in popularity since their demise. Although I had never visited the site, I felt that it was necessary to document this mysterious construction, as modern monuments are not usually destroyed with malicious intent. The Guidestones were not a commonly known structure to most people until July 2022, when the site was allegedly vandalized and subsequently destroyed. The remnants were dismantled and removed shortly thereafter by city officials. The Georgia Guidestones were opened to the public on March 22, 1980, in a rural area of Elbert County, Georgia, about a 2-hour drive northeast from Atlanta. The monument was approximately 19 feet tall and was constructed using 4 granite slabs, a central pillar, and a capstone weighing approximately 190 tons. The sponsors of the project commissioned the local Elberton Granite Finishing Company to build the massive stonework. It was designed to function as a compass, calendar, and clock utilizing solar alignments. Ironically, it was supposed to be capable of withstanding catastrophic events. The striking position of these simple yet precise stones portray ancient and modern architectural styles evoking a sense of historical significance. The structure was sometimes referred to as an American Stonehenge due to its appearance and astronomical similarities with Stonehenge in the United Kingdom. The sponsors of the monument believed that there was going to be an upcoming global catastrophe and wanted the monument to serve as a guide for humanity afterward. They inscribed a message for future generations in several languages. The countryside location of the site is in an area that is out of the way for typical monuments to be built, but was chosen due to the abundance of local granite. Elberton claims to be one of the largest producers of granite globally, as there are more than 45 quarries producing more granite monuments than any other area in the world. Some additional reasons for the choice of this location is the ability to view the astronomical features with reduced urban interference, as well as having a closer connection to nature, something directly mentioned in one of the inscriptions. It is regarded by many as more of a roadside attraction, and as of 2022, approximately 20,000 annual visitors were reported to have visited the site. Though initially garnering little controversy, the monument ultimately became the subject of conspiracy theories alleging connections to Satanism and a global world order. A few feet to the west of the monument, an additional marker known as the explanatory tablet was placed level with the ground. This tablet identified various facts about the structure, such as the languages inscribed on it, the size, weight, astronomical features, and the date it was installed. The most intriguing message, and one that propels the most criticism aside from the main slab inscriptions, are the sponsors of the project, which simply read, "Sponsors, a small group of Americans who seek the age of reason." The secretive identities of the sponsors led to speculation that there was some sort of shadowy cabal responsible for the construction, which clearly aided in the ongoing controversy of the monument. Additionally, there was a reference to a time capsule supposedly buried beneath the tablet, but the dates for when the capsule was buried and for when it was to be exhumed were left blank, so it is uncertain if the time capsule was ever actually put in place. There are several modern artistic renditions that emulate Stonehenge throughout the world, and at face value this monument can easily be counted among them. Though what sets this monument apart from the others were the messages carved on the slabs. The Guidestones were certainly controversial during their lifespan due to the biblically inspired principles on the stone slabs. In what appears reminiscent to the 10 Commandments of the Old Testament, a set of 10 guidelines were engraved on the granite slabs. The languages were English, Spanish, Swahili, Hindi, Hebrew, Arabic, traditional Chinese, and Russian. The languages were chosen because they represented the most widely spoken languages that exist today. Hebrew was likely chosen due to its relationship to Judaism and Christianity. According to the monument's sponsors, the inscriptions are meant to guide humanity to rebuild under a collective mandate after a global catastrophe, which they thought was an imminent threat. The inscriptions read as follows: Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. Unite humanity with a living new language. Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. Avoid petty laws and useless officials. Balance personal rights with social duties. Prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. Be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. I'll admit that some of these guidelines are rather strange, and I can see why some conspiracy theorists claim they invoke sinister ideas of eugenics and a global world order. There is ongoing debate as to whether this message has a prophetic plan to create a post-apocalyptic world, or simply an artistic work for future generations to reflect on and inspire debate. I think the words speak for themselves, and I encourage you to draw your own conclusions. The last major feature to note are the astronomical elements engineered directly into the main structure. The 4 outer slabs and center column were oriented in such a way as to be able to view the sun's solstices and equinoxes, and at night the North Star could be seen. The central pillar had a slot carved through it which was aligned with an aperture in the capstone that allowed a ray of sun to pass through at noon each day, shining a beam on the center stone indicating the day of the year. After researching this site, it became clear to me, with the similar structure, astronomical features, and references to nature, indicate the sponsors were intent on honoring, at least in part, the Druidic cultures that built the henges of Europe. This regard for paganistic-inspired views is what many use to fuel the argument that this site has a satanic connection. The monument has a history of vandalism and has been defaced several times in the past. In 2008, the stones were defaced with polyurethane paint and graffiti with slogans such as "Death to the New World Order." In September 2014, the stones were vandalized with graffiti including the phrase, "I am Isis, goddess of love." After the acts of vandalism, security cameras were installed on the site. In July 2022, the Guidestones were heavily damaged in an alleged bombing and were later dismantled on the same day. In the early morning hours of July 6, 2022, an explosion occurred at the monument. CCTV footage recorded a flash of light followed by an explosion at the monument which destroyed one of the main granite slabs and severely damaged the capstone. Reports from residents claim they heard the explosive boom around 4 in the morning. CCTV footage also recorded a vehicle leaving the scene shortly before the incident. The Elbert County Sheriff's Office, along with assistance from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, was dispatched to the scene later that morning to conduct their investigation of the bombing. On the evening of the bombing, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation released a video showing both the explosion and a vehicle of interest leaving the scene shortly before. The investigation at the site was completed later that day, and before the sun set, the remaining stones were dismantled and completely removed by authorities, citing safety concerns. The following day, on July 7th, authorities released an additional CCTV video which showed an individual approaching the monument shortly before the explosion. During the removal of the monument, authorities dug 6 feet beneath the explanatory tablet to check for the time capsule mentioned on the tablet itself, but the search found nothing. Perhaps there never was a time capsule, which would explain why the dates on the tablet were left blank. As others have pointed out, the field investigation seems to have been concluded rather quickly. I'm not an expert in forensics, but it appears that the monument was torn down with haste, and no attempts to salvage the undamaged slabs occurred. I am curious what evidence the authorities were able to collect, as the crime scene has been completely erased. It does seem odd that even with the poor angles of the CCTV footage, that there are still no suspects or motive attributed to the act. One question I do have is what happened to the remains of the monument? Have they been put into evidence storage, or have they been dumped in the local landfill? As of July 22, 2022, no motive has been publicly shared, nor suspects publicly identified, and no arrests have been made. This is certainly a strange event, and I will follow any updates to the investigation to see if this crime will be solved. As controversial as the monument was during its time, it's always sad to see vandalism on historic sites. The sponsors, true purpose of the monument, and motive for the attack will for now remain a mystery.